All right. Thank you, Facebook, for cooperating since you're giving me some difficulty this morning. It's really good to be here in our Trepreneur community with like-minded folks who are all here doing the same things, being great entrepreneurs, doing their best to help people make transformations in whatever their business or industry is. And at the same time, wanting to learn and to do better at their own business, sales, and marketing. And Joe, who'll be with me in just a moment, we're just chit-chatting about, we can be like amazing at whatever, whether it's marketing or sales or social media or writing a book or blogging or podcasting or AI, whatever it is you do, health and wellness. And then when it comes to sometimes coaching or consulting ourselves, it's a world of difference, which is one of the reasons that now for over 42 years, I have had coaches, consultants, and mentors because I can't see what I can't see in my own business. Man, I can see it for everyone else's business. And Joe is nodding his head. So Joe, tell everybody a little bit about you and we'll get rocking and rolling.
Okay. I'll give a little background story, but I'll try and make it brief. I was born in 61 and I was really into electronics and technology and I was an electrical engineer, had a background doing that. Had my first business. I had a stereo repair business in 1980.
Wow.
So I've been around. I made over $1 million in technology, and in the early 90s, it crashed and burned pretty hard. And I lost everything and then some, One of my friends says, Joe, we finally hit rock bottom and we've climbed a long way to get here.
Way to look at it.
So anyway, after I lost everything, two things happened. One is I had a little bit of a mental meltdown and had to go get some, had to go check in at the Los Angeles Department of Mental Health and say, hey, I've got major depression issues. But the other thing that happened was magical is I went to a Jay Abraham event. And it was a $5,000 event. I did not have the money at the time. I put $500 on a credit card and prayed about the rest. And it was mind-blowing. It was really profound. And for those that Jay's a marketing genius.
Oh, yeah.
And after that event, Jay's office called me and said, Joe, you want to come to the next event? I said, I would love to. I'm still trying to pay for the first one. And they said, we know. Could you possibly barter? And I'm like, what could I possibly do? And they said, we need transcription. So Jay's office sent me boxes and boxes and boxes of audio recordings of like 30 years of Jay Abraham marketing and business think tanks.
Whoa.
And they were sorted by 30 topics, unique selling proposition, referral. I documented 93 referral systems. That was one of the 30 topics that I was transcribing on. And all of those transcriptions ended up going in the Jay Abraham Marketing Encyclopedia. I
had a feeling that's where we were headed.
Okay. And it was really profound. And I was at a trade show and I saw all these people making the marketing mistakes that Jay talked about. And something snapped in my head. And it's like, I am no longer a technology person. I am now going to be a full-time marketing consultant. And so I've been helping entrepreneurs reinvent themselves since 1999. Now, there's kind of two parts to the path. So I ended up being a subcontract marketing coach for Jim Ackerman out of Salt Lake City, the Principle-Centered Marketing Coaching Program. And I coached thousands of people through that and beyond. And I would go to networking events and I would say, I help people that are making 3 or 5 or 700,000 a year go to 1 or 2 or 3 million. And a lot of people hired me from that. But what I ran into is a lot of people said, Joe, I don't make that kind of money and I don't have my own business. As a matter of fact, I have a job and it's stealing my soul, and I want somebody to teach me how to start my own business. And so from that, around 2008, I came up with this idea for employee escape plan.
I love that.
So there was a recognition that every day millions of people are driving reluctantly to a job they don't want to go to. And they're praying, dear God, send me a mentor to show me how to start my own business so I never have to go back to this soul-sucking job. And I'm the answer to that prayer. So I still serve the first group. Now, what's interesting is when I started declaring into the universe that I do employee escape plan, all the old type customers were not interested in me anymore because it's like, I'm not an employee. This doesn't apply to me.
Right. Yeah, you said some really interesting things that I want to unpack for folks. first, I want to say thank you for being transparent and talking about the depression and dealing with it. I think it's depression is rampant in our society, and many people just keep trying to go along to get along and ignoring it as if there's some stigma. And there's no stigma. We can raise our hands and say, this is how I'm feeling. I need some help. And so I'm always admiring and acknowledging and appreciate when someone not only gets that help, transparently is open and sharing. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing that made me really smile is I went through the $5,000 J. Abraham program way back when it was like pay $500 and then pay the rest later or whatever. This is like ages and ages ago. And I remember when I first started the program, I was also buying another business, and I went, here's $500 and I don't have the money. I don't know where it's going to show up from. And it's so interesting to me that when we just trust in a process and we put one foot in front of the other, magic happens. In my case, I got asked to speak on a stage with J. Abraham, Chet Holmes, and Scott Holman, and sold my programs from there and made about 90,000. So paying Jay the rest of the money was a no-brainer. So I also love how, the universe opened up for you, and there you are. I knew you were going to say the marketing encyclopedia, because I'm like, wait, I know where you're going. That is just so cool. The other piece I want to unpack is I think that nowadays, you talked about soul sucking job. I'm like, oh, I get that. I hear so many people so unhappy, and that job is really ruining their life. It's a way to make money without having a life. So I love that you have this employee escape plan, and it doesn't surprise me, as you got clear, as you got focused, as you knew who you wanted to serve, the other people just sort of fall away. And I admire the fact that you have a solid niche, you know who your niche is, and that you pivoted. You're like, I was over here doing this, I'm pivoting. So anything you want to respond to in that?
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit torn because I still like to serve the people that have a business already. And, I think one of the things that made us get into this conversation was, what do you call yourself? And I think I said entrepreneur maker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the problem with entrepreneur maker is that, first of all, the good news is anyone could be a coach. The bad news is anyone could be a coach.
Exactly.
And that's what's my way of kind of separating myself from the pack. And so if you type marketing coach, you're going to get, thousands and thousands of hits. It's kind of more challenging, but nobody is actually typing out entrepreneur maker because it's a little bit different there. So I think two of the challenges that I faced when I was starting an employee escape plan is, number one, if we know that 9 out of 10 people kind of fail or struggle in business. And so if I'm going to help you escape the job you hate, I don't want to help you start a business that ends up failing, because 9 out of 10 people fail in business, but not on my watch. So I had to engineer a process where people can succeed kind of every time. If the process works every time, you still got to do your part. The other thing that kind of came out of this, and it really resonates with the whole the heartrepreneur message that you have, is if I'm going to help you escape the job you hate, let's help you build the business you love. So I created something called the Business Happiness Blueprint, or the Business Bliss Blueprint. And it's about being very intentional about, if we're going to start with a blank let's start with a blank canvas. Let's not be in a business by default. Let's be in a business by design.
Love it.
And if you had a blank canvas, this is a great question for everybody that's watching and listening. Take a blank piece of paper and say, what does my dream business look like? What, and to me, it's kind of like 9 pieces. It's do what you love, share the love, receive the love. It's 9 pieces. First, you got to choose the right business for you.
Right.
It's got to match your personality. And I think far too many people, they never do the deep dive work. What's the right business for me? So I created a whole program just for that. It's businesswisdomquest.com. Now that we know what business to be in, we can talk about the other 8 pieces. Interestingly enough, the other 8 pieces, selling and marketing and branding, make 0 sense if you're not even in the right business in the first place.
Yeah.
So then it's about building a brand that you love, you know, there is no leader without a tribe, and there is no tribe without a leader. And the highest paid person is the tribal leader. But we don't follow a person, we follow a cause. So
Mhm.
what do you stand for? This is a key to figuring out your branding. The third piece is, making an offer you love offering and they love buying and you love delivering, and need all three.
Yes, great point.
And
Great.
then there's the share the love, and I'll just go through these quick.
Yeah,
You got to
please.
become a good storyteller.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to hear an advertisement, but everybody likes a good once upon a time. You need to promote well to get people to raise their hand in a way that's comfortable for you. And
Right.
then you need to lead and nurture. Just because people raise their hand doesn't mean they're ready to buy. So we need to start the relationship. We need to grow the relationship till people are ready. And
Mhm.
then we need to receive the love.
Mhm.
And the first one, this is a little funny. You want to raise the buying temperature of people. You're to eight, 9, and 10. You want to fill your calendar with 8s, 9s, and 10s. And what I tell people is it's much better to kiss a girl who's leaning into you than one who's leaning away from you. And so the first way you receive the love is you receive an appointment. Whether or not people buy from you, I
Yep.
appreciate the fact that you scheduled with me, and then you got to receive the love through selling. And, Terri, I'm a freak. I've studied 19 different sales schools. I mean, all over the world. You're nodding your head because that's
Yes, been there, done that. Yeah.
the nod of recognition.
Uh-huh.
And then the final way you receive the love is, now that you've made the sale, you got to deliver the goodies, and you receive the love through repeat business. You
Right.
receive the love through video testimonials and referrals. So
Right.
so
Oh,
if
great.
you do all those pieces right, and you're in the right business, and you're doing all those pieces right, you will have a business that works.
100%. So let's go through some of these things. I took a whole bunch of notes. When we're going back and forth in the group on what do you call yourself? So entrepreneur maker, I get it. Like, I know what that means. At the same time, it's not a category that I can advertise to.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't actually understand, what does that mean, or what is that? And what I actually really liked is when you use the words that kind of were speaking to me, the soul sucking job to a business you love, right? I was in a soul sucking job after owning my own businesses. And then for whatever reason, for 5 years, I became CEO of a national healthcare company and went, what am I doing this for? Right. So I would love to see you come up with a different name and a different title. It can have the word entrepreneur in it. It could have anything from, startup consultant to entrepreneurs. And I'm just making things up. I would like to see the term be so specific that people get it. And certainly underneath that, you could use a great tagline like leave the soul sucking job and create a business you love. Something like that. And those words, soul sucking job, they're emotional, they're powerful, and the right people will relate. So a couple of things that I want to say for you and for the audience, and this came from my very dear friend, Jack Canfield, decades ago. Jack Canfield taught me the phrase up until now. And when we talk about I have challengers, or the challenge has been, or whatever it is, it's basically refeeding ourselves that there's a challenge. And up until now, it neurologically programs us to let that go. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Love that.
Escaping the job to business success. So, you might even want to play with ESCAPE and see if you can make something like as an acronym for each one of those. So escape stands for, I don't know, entrepreneur, whatever. I'm making that up.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Just a hint. And I love that you were talking about let's create a business by design and not default. And I want to speak to that for a moment. I think, especially during COVID, all of a sudden everyone was like, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, I'm a whatever. And it really has hurt this industry because a lot of these people don't have the knowledge, right? They don't have all those years of sales training and Jay Abraham and marketing that you have or that I have. And they're all of a sudden like, oh, this looks like an easy business. And then a couple of things. Number one, it's not that easy if you don't love it and have passion for it. And number two, you haven't necessarily figured out it's a dream business for you. So I find that helping people make sure that they know the dream business before they just launch. I've got clients all the time, Joe, that are like, yeah, I just launched and I'm doing such and such. I'm like, well, why that? Because somebody else was doing it online and they said it's a lot of money. Yeah, well, no. So I like all of that. I like the business wisdom quest. I thought that was very, very cool. And I think one of the most important things that you said is make sure it is the right business. Listen, the reason I'm on my 8th multi-million-dollar company, and this is the one, and it took me a long time to get here. For 30 years I've been here. The first one I didn't really like. So when someone went to buy it, I'm like, yeah, that's not my thing. The second one I built just to sell. The third one I built with 2 guys, huge, fast, and then it was so overpowering. It's taken over my life. I said, buy me out. So I think it's really important what you talked about here is yes, you can escape your job. Let's find something that you love and are passionate about so you have longevity in it.
Let me
Go ahead.
So 2 things that come to my mind is, if somebody's running in the wrong direction, they don't need a motivator to say run faster.
True.
You need to stop and get your direction. So that's what Business Wisdom Quest is all about. The other thing is, if you ask somebody, how do you build a house? Do you start with the roof? A lot of people will say, no, you start at the foundation, but that's not true. Before the foundation, you have a blueprint, and before the blueprint, you have a vision. And so it's really important to let's take some time to dream a little bit and get a vision or possible visions. And let's sketch out 3 or 4 different business ideas and then choose wisely. Because then if you choose wisely, you know what, this is exactly what I'm going to do, then you can move forward. You know what your North Star is. You're not going to get distracted by the guy that says, hey, want to get into my crypto business?
Yeah, right.
I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm going. And everything else is a distraction because I took the time to do the deep dive work to figure out what's right for me. And I think I'm one of the only people on the planet that really, and I prayed about it. Okay. I prayed, God, should I help people starting at 0? And, should I just work with people making 10 or 20K a month already and help them get to the next level? And there's nothing wrong with that. But the answer I got back is, Joe, if you don't help these people start the right way, nobody else is.
I'm glad you said that, Joe, because one of the things that I also see is, and it really does break my heart. So many people do not have that vision. They never even sat down and said, well, it could be this business, or it could be this, or it could be this. And all of a sudden, it's like they open the door and they go, oh, I'm selling this thing. And then they go, well, no one wants to buy it. Well, first of all, did you research? Second of all, do you know who the market is? Third of all, are you distinct in the market? Fourth of all, are you really excited about that thing? So I love that. I also liked that you started, weaving in the storytelling. I find that one of my first mentors, first mentor I ever paid was Zig Ziglar. And the days when I, quote, had no money, I took a small business loan out, SBA loan, and I got to work with Zig. And one of the things that I realized very, very quickly is the power of stories. Is Zig Ziglar's story. They replay in my head all the time. And when I started doing keynote speaking and then kind of sharing things, I decided that I would tell stories in order to get my message across. And what I find out is people remember stories, right? They might not remember something I taught them. And I've had clients go, I remember 4 years ago when you were telling the story about, I'm like, what? So I love that you brought that up. Something that just came to me, I'm just going to tell you while it's on my mind. The profitable business maker, or the business maker, something like that. There's just something, I don't know, there's something buzzing around that. So I'm just going to put it out there for you to play with. I want folks that are watching to hear a couple things that Joe said and really breathe them in. He talked about the fact that you have to know how to promote, because getting hand raises, what I teach, reverse marketing, comes from not throwing up content all over people, not DMing people. Oh my gosh, if one more person DMs me, hey, Terry, I see you're a coach. I can help you get your first client. They never even looked at my profile.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're about 32 years too late, dude. So I look at things as if there's a parade. There's people at the back of the parade. They're not that warmed up to either you or what you're offering. However, they're kind of starting out on the journey. They might move to the middle of the parade, or they might just drop off. Then you've got the people in the middle of the parade, and usually that's the bulk of people. They're kind of interested. They might be interested in either you or either the service you provide. They're just not ready yet to buy. So we're moving the middle people to the front. The front of the parade folks are raising their hand. They're the ones that we want to book the appointments with. They're the ones that become our client family members. And then the people in the middle are the ones that we nurture. And you and I speak the same language. You're totally a entrepreneur. It's all about relationships, right? The more that you give to people without any outcome, you just give for the sake of giving your best content, the most value, you help people, you transform lives, great things come back to you. Great things come back to you. And that is how you get those case studies, testimonials, referrals, confidence, and all of that. So ideally, I would like you to think about, let's do this, think about the most perfect magical avatar. And as if I'm going to refer that person to you tomorrow, describe that person in as much detail as you can.
I've actually got notes on this.
That doesn't surprise me.
Winning business owners who want to win bigger is part of it. People are frustrated because their business isn't growing fast enough. They're talented at their work, but they're not so talented at marketing and sales. They take responsibility for the results they want to create. They communicate clearly what's working and what's not. They happily and easily pay my fees. They send me thank you notes. Sometimes they even surprise me with gifts. They refer tons more ideal clients. They're super coachable. They're intentional about our sessions. They show up on time. They get awesome results. They give rock star testimonials. They inspire me, and they want to love their business and have more fun. Also, they're looking for more structure. They want to be more systematic. We laugh together. That they own a business and they care deeply about what they do. They dig on all the different levels of business. They're not just looking for one answer, and they're all in. They're not dipping their toes in the water. They're all in. They're submersing. They desire to push up against their comfort zones so they can allow in more ease and abundance. And they practice and implement the things I share, and they trust the process. And they say things about me. They like my quirkiness. They like the fun little twists I bring to things. They respect my schedule. They also like my compassion, because I've been there. I've been broke. I've been brokenhearted. I've been unhealthy. I've been grief-stricken, and I've been completely frazzled, which means I can relate to just about anything that they're going through. And they love that whatever I deliver is exactly what they need the most right now. They like the fact that I over-deliver. I'm super fun, and it makes them have more fun and increases their income. And I lead them to relief on any topic they confront, so they can attract way beyond what they thought was possible.
First of all, just to celebrate you and applaud you. You had just aced this. Most people don't give me as much detail. It's so well thought out. I mean, I could see that person. I could feel that person. And by the way, for those watching, if you can't do that for yourself, take a lesson from Joe. Like, go back and watch this over again.
It really does change the game in terms of, you can't attract your dream clients if you can't define them. And so when you can define them and put that out into the universe, there's a much likelier, higher chance that they're going to find you.
1,000,000%. It's really funny. I was talking to somebody, I think it was last week. Yeah, it was last week. And he said, I'm thinking I might want to come on board as a client. And I said, okay, there are certain things that are required to be a client in terms of characteristics. Can I share them with you? And he, what do you mean? I've got the money. I said, yeah, I've got the money. And
it's not just the money.
It's not just the money. One of the things I said is, I need to have some humor. You need to be able to laugh at yourself. You have to take yourself less seriously. These are just some things about the people that I work with. And he's like, no, I'm like all serious and I just want like serious business work. And I said, yeah, you're not right for me. I can certainly recommend you to someone else. As long as you, and I'm talking to Joe and to everyone else, as you are really clear on that avatar, the way Joe is, number one, it makes it easy for people to refer to him. Number two, it makes him quickly be able to see, is this a good prospect or not? And the third thing that's super important is a prospect can see, am I a good fit? Is a prospect a good fit? So what I'm hearing.
And there's also a fine line between elicitation and installation. When they hear those things, it's almost like letting them, that's the rules of engagement.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you added that. Thank you. So what I'm hearing and what we were kind of playing with, those of you who saw the post a couple of weeks ago, I was like, what do you call yourself? And people had all different kinds of names. And some people call themselves 5 or 6 things. And some people call themselves something like, well, that's good, but we can't really identify those people as easily. I'm coming up with, I did say like the profitable business maker or something like that. The profitable business creator, right? So we're not saying coach, consultant, strategist, mentor, advisor, because in listening to you, it's a deeper journey. It's let's figure out which is the right business. Let's figure out which one you're passionate about. And then let's figure out how to create a profitability roadmap that you'll enjoy in that business. Does that resonate?
It does. And you said something. You know how many people go to college and get that MBA, which is a Master's of Business Administration? And to me, when you say I'm learning to administer someone, it's like learning to administer someone else's business. I've had a lot of MBAs contact me and say, I got this MBA, but I'm not making money with it. And I think we need to develop more Masters of Business creation. And I think I don't help you administer a business. I help you create a business. And that's light years away from that label, at least, of MBA. It's, I think like it is an act of creation. That's what entrepreneurship, there's so many things about entrepreneurship that like people say that, oh, it's so risky to start a business. Well, Warren Buffett said risk comes from not knowing what you're doing.
I agree with that.
If you know what, we look at certain people, they start a business, Terri, you start a business, it's successful. You start another business, it's successful. Like, so is it so risky? No, you know what, you paid your dues, you've done your homework, you're experienced, you know your stuff. So this creation piece, profitable business creator, I love that. I think that's the right direction.
Yeah, that feels really good to me as I'm listening to you. I mean, to me, that master's is the master of business creation. Like your students can get a master's of business creation when they work with the profitable business creator. There's just something about that really resonates. And I could even see you doing, almost like makeovers with folks. Like this gentleman that I know, he's like, I'm no longer want to work in IT. I want to be a financial advisor. And I'm like, how did you pick that? And why did you pick that? And he has no rationale, like whatsoever. Just like, he would be a great person. I would say, you know what? Go speak with my friend Joe. Let him help you figure out a couple of different businesses that are the right one. And I can see people right here in our Heartrepreneur group who can use your help. I can see people who can refer to you. By the way, when we're all done with the interview, Joe, go back in. We can answer everyone's comments and questions. And feel free to drop a link on how people can connect with you. You do have permission to do that because
I like this profitable business creator. What I really like about it is it works for the startup person.
Yep.
But it also works with the person who's been in business 20 years.
That's what I was looking for you. As I listened, I'm like, okay, we want to be appealing because you have more than one avatar. We want to have a term that can appeal to everyone. And I don't want you lost in the sea of people, coach, consultant, strategist, mentor. I mean, there's so many of them. I went on Instagram about 2 weeks ago and I put in the word mentor and then I put in the word coach and I was like, good Lord, it's like everyone on the planet. So to me, you're the profitable business creator, which means you could be taking that person who feels like life is being sucked out of them at a job. And we all know those people. Some people in here feel that way. And you can take someone who's like, I'm starting a business or I started creating a business. Maybe it's not profitable, or maybe it's the wrong thing. And you could help them pivot to what is something that they're more excited about. I feel sad, Joe, when I hear people say, oh, the weekend's over and now it's Monday and I have to go to work. And I'm like, I can't wait. Like I can't wait to get like
I don't even use the work word. I say, let's have fun making money. Let's
I
have
love
fun. Let's have fun serving and
it.
making money.
And that's what it's about. Like if you show up every day and you dig what you're doing and you love the people that you work with, it's not hard. It's not hard. And I think people are overcomplicating it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people giving really bad advice.
There's so much bad information. I have two taglines. One is, if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong.
Love that.
And if you're going to build a business, you might as well enjoy it.
Those are great. Those are great.
I think that, look, we spend a lot of time doing whatever it is to provide for our family, provide for ourselves, provide for the people we love,
Sure.
to hopefully have a little overflow so we could do a little philanthropy or charity, and if we're going to invest that much time, if we're either wearing a smiley face or a sad face, and life's too short to wear that sad face all day.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So I'm curious, when folks have a chance to drop into the comments, let us know what you heard, what you learned, what resonated. Definitely, we will have Joe go back and we'll answer all your comments here in the chat. We'll pin this so people can find it and leave it up here for a while. And in the meantime, Joe will also put in how to connect with him, because if you want to have a more profitable business, or you're not sure which business or the business you're in isn't that inspiring, I'm going to strongly recommend that you connect with Joe. And now that we actually have a title for what he does, it'll be easier for him to find more client family members that he can help and transform. So Joe, what's your key takeaway?
Well, let's see. I wrote some notes. I like the idea of turning escape into an abbreviation, and I like this profitable business creator. I like the idea of doing makeovers. I want to share something before we leave, Terri. I want to give something that
Sure.
everybody can use this. Okay.
Awesome.
I was in a 10-week course on effectiveness through Landmark. And there was a girl in the class. She was an actress. She was pretty. She had a demo reel. She was trained. She was in the union. And she was going on lots of auditions and not getting very many gigs. And one of the things she discovered in this process was that getting gigs represent paying rent.
Mm-hmm.
And she was bringing that energy into the auditions. Mm-hmm. And so she invented a new possibility. And her new possibility was to be a massive contribution to the audition, to be a massive contribution to the director, and be a massive contribution to the overall success of the project. And in that 10 weeks, after a long dry spell, she got a TV commercial, another TV commercial, a Netflix gig, and another TV commercial. And I was witnessing this and going, wow. And I started adopting it myself. I'm a massive contribution to the clients I serve. Hopefully today here, Terri, I'm a massive contribution to your audience as I even put myself and be vulnerable and say, help me, Terri. But, and everything shifted for me. And I just want everybody out there, you can do this. Stop holding back your magic and be a massive contribution wherever you show up. Be a massive contribution when you're doing a live on Facebook or social media. If you get a chance to do public speaking, if you're just around and doing a little brainstorm with 5 or 6 people, be a massive contribution. And I promise you, the size of the hole you receive through is proportional to the size of the hole you give through. And you can't expect to receive much unless you give a lot, unless you're willing to give. And so when you give in a bigger level, you will receive in a bigger level. And so, we talk about the heart and being a heartrepreneur. Yes. Open up that heart and let the love flow out and watch the love come back to you.
Oh, that is just the words and the way you said it. I mean, the advice is valuable. The way you said it really rings true for me. And I tell my client family members all the time, the more you show up, serve, and educate, and don't worry about, well, I'm getting my best stuff away. Who cares? I give all my best stuff away because people can have it, they can use it. And then if they want help implementing, they know that we can help them. Don't be afraid to do that, right?
Give your best stuff away for 1 hour. After that, you make an offer. And,
Sure.
and one of my mentalities is I give everybody, let me buy you an hour of my time.
Mhm.
At the end of an hour, if it makes sense, I'll make a soft offer.
Sure.
After that, I become compassion for hire. If you want more, you pay me, I care. If you don't pay, I
Perfect.
don't care. And so, but always lead with the giving first. And then you can have clean karma knowing I gave a lot of value, but in order for me to continue to give, you got to give back.
Exactly. So my client family members know I wear this little bracelet and it says serve and create on one side, and it has a check mark on the other side. So every day when I show up, it's like, okay, what can I do today? How can I serve? How can I create? How can I help? And then my day ends literally when I flip my bracelet over, get a check mark going, okay, I showed up, I transformed lives, I served, and I created. There is no attachment to an outcome. That doesn't mean, oh, 10 people bought or 90 people bought or one person bought. It means I feel complete in showing up and giving my best. Does that resonate?
It does. And I just want to do a big giant thank you, Terry. I appreciate you. I've been watching you for a while. You are a rock star. I've learned a lot from you. You know, I'm a man of many mentors. I've spent a fortune on, I'll bet you're one of these people like me. It's like there's 2 online events going on at the same time, and you got 2 screens.
Oh yeah, been there, done that, being transparent. Yes, I think you try 3. I've even done 3, Joe.
But I just wanted to, make sure that, look, everybody out there that's in the Heartrepreneur community, I just want you to know you are in super good hands with Terry. You probably know that already, but I'm a marketing expert and I watch Terry, and you're in good hands. Terry's one of the real deal, and you're blessed to be able to find somebody that loves and cares and embraces. I love your what do you call it? Client family member.
Members. Yes.
I love that phrase.
Thank you. And it's really how I feel. Thank you. I want to say to you, thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for being so transparent. You dropped so many amazing nuggets here. You'll let people know how to connect with you. And if we can be of any service or help you in any way going forward, you know where to find us, and continue to be active in the community. You are such a heartrepreneur, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome. Stay in touch. Bye for now. Bye, everybody.